the beautiful point of like what you pointed out is that he was doing this long before, obviously the term hip hop didn't come out until the early 80s. And the fact that he was doing it before Herc's parties, that's the thing too, is like, I feel like Herc's parties were definitely a key component to the culture. But I think a lot of times people miss that this was already happening. Like, and that's one of the questions that I have is like, how early did it happen? And then there's that confusion about graffiti, right? Because people say it always started with the music, but like, to me, it's like, if graffiti is one of the elements and graffiti predates the music and it predates the dance, like, isn't graffiti technically like the first element of the culture?
Well, first of all, before touching on that, I mean, those are all like very important questions. Not easy to talk. I mean, because things are complex. But yeah, before touching on that, though, I have to like talk about this word graffiti, because that was another thing like FaZe was very vocal about. And I think a lot of people misunderstood sometimes what, because people revered him so much. A lot of times you'll hear people say, "Don't say that word, don't say that word," but they're not really understanding why, like why he was against that word, because he was like very much against what he called the G word, which was graffiti. So he called it aerosol art, style writing, or just writing, and the reason is like that term was used. First of all, writers never called it graffiti; they called it writing, bombing, piecing, So this is something he would point out. This isn't our terminology. This is like got applied to us by the media, by the police, and he said that the connotation was, this is crime, this is vandalism. And so this term was used to like criminalize it, and writing became like a big political issue as well. So he was, as someone who lived that, so he recognized that when even to this day, like, not to say he said this, but like how I interpret it, right? If you see like these murals and things writers do it for, or just even like a street artist will do for like a luxury condo, they don't call that graffiti. They'll call it street art or murals or whatever. Depending on who's doing it and where it's being done, they'll label it graffiti. So he pointed that out. And he also pointed out, like, this is also being used to denigrate an art form that is much more than just people writing like their names. This is like it's like a form of calligraphy almost, like, and even beyond that, it's an art form that has like influenced the world. It's not captured properly by this term graffiti, which like definitionally refers to like scribble scrabble, So these two things and a bunch of other reasons, like he was very against that word, you know what I mean? And I think that makes sense. And so I just got to kind of put that out there, because not to be like we should worship FaZe and not say it. We should understand why he was against it. This dude was very principled. He wouldn't want people just robotically following. He would want them to at least think about like why he was against it, you know what I mean? So in any case,